everyone, January 21st. All right, so I had to check the solution. I can't figure it out. And the solution tells me I shall think about this problem in terms of Knapsack. So we will go do Knapsack later. So we're gonna deal with this first and then we'll Knapsack that problem. All right, what is this? Palindrome partition. Given a string, partition as such that every substring of the partition is a palindrome. Return all possible palindrome partitions of S. All palindrome partitions. So we want to do a partition such that every substring is a palindrome. Every substring is a palindrome. Okay, partition. And we want every substring to be a palindrome. Which means we're going to do, because every one has to be a palindrome, so we start from the front, right? And then we take that as a palindrome, and then with the remaining, we try to see how that can be a palindrome. And then we can say the first, because everyone has to be a palindrome, so that actually makes it a little bit easier, because the first one has to be a palindrome. So basically, we just try to find how we can make the first substring, starting with the first, to be a palindrome. And once we do that, we delegate the remaining to the rest, and then we'll return. We'll return a value, which is a list which contains the palindrome, and then you combine whatever you have here to every one of them, and then we'll return that. So that should not be too bad. We'll deal with it. We're gonna do a recursion for this. So def, call it DFS. We'll call it helper. We have index, and we'll return a list of str. Okay. So actually, there's no res. What we're gonna do is we will take the first one, because that's definitely, and then we just keep moving on. All right. So we say for I in range, we'll go from this towards the end, and we'll say if this is palindrome, which we can just check because it's so small, so it's fine. So we're going to do this up into n, because n equals length, right? So we'll say range n. So if index, not index s, index to index plus I. Now that maybe I have to say from 1 to the end. All right? If from 1 to the end. Yeah, because pointing here, so from index to index plus will be index itself, right? And then we do 2, move 2, and then we can go all the way to the real end, right? So it's actually from index plus 1 to this. That's actually the one to go, right? So if this is equal to s index I minus 1. I think that's the way to get a reverse. So if these two are the same, which means the current is a palindrome, then we can say helper will do I, right? Starting from I, because I is not included. So starting from I, this will give me some stuff, right? And actually, I do think this has to be, because when you do this, right? And do this. So we need to do functools import LRU cache. And we can cache this thing. So we can say LRU cache max size equals none, right? So we do this, let's give me a list of lists. So we need to have a result here, all right? And then we need to say for each one of this. What if it's I can say next equals this, right? Okay, so we'll say if this is nothing, right, which means we don't have any partitions in it, then we don't do anything. Otherwise, we can say for each partition. Okay, so for each partition, what if it's nothing? If nothing, we should return nothing, right? So for each partition, yeah, actually, maybe it's fine. We can say for each partition in this, right, we can add a current to it. So we can say res, and that's one partition, so res.append, right? That is one partition is this plus part, and this is going to be s index to I. And then once we're done, we'll return res. And of course, if it doesn't, then we don't do anything. And then we'll do return helper starting from 0. Let's see if this one works. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Let's see. Yeah, the second one is actually very simple. Yep. S partition S, and let's sort it. Let's see if one works. Solution itself. I got nothing. It happens again. The hell? I think it's probably this one is wrong, because I'm not really quite sure. You know what? That will be easy. Let's just do the current equals s index to I. Right? So we can just say if current is equal to current and then we can say this will be a current. No, something initially is right. But what happened here? Do we have something? We have. I think we forgot to do at the end. Right? So we will do help I. So we will go here, right? And we'll go here. So yeah, we forgot to do at the last. What is the last? The last is if index is equal to n. So we go out. We shall return. We shall return something. Okay? We shall return something. Yeah, we should say if index is equal to n. That means we're going to the outside, so we shall return this. Nah, that's still not right. But shouldn't this get to the, because I do this, right? And then I do this. Right, because index equals to this. For I in this, oh, then this does not happen. Huh. You want this to be on the outside, so I shall do this, and then I shall do this plus 1, right? And then helper I plus 1. That one is right. That one is right. Now I want to try. Nah, actually this one's fine. Yeah, let's just try this one. All right, we can do 16. I don't know, just put random stuff in it. All right, Oh, it's quite a lot. Try this. 2020, 2022, 2023. It's almost a year ago. Okay, so, well, it did pretty well this time. Okay, let's take a look at the previous solutions. Full solution last time. 131. That is DFS, right? DFS with memoization. Helper I returns all the palindrome partition of si towards the end. Thus, for each helper I, we find the first palindrome partition and delegate the remaining for the next recursion. Yeah, this is very difficult for me to figure out what's the runtime on this backtracking. Backtracking with dynamic programming. Oh, it's a DFS to the end and then backtracking. I think what it does is use this to make it faster to check if something is palindrome. I just go ahead and just do it. Like, I don't even care. 2 to the end. Basically, just want to find how many substrings there can be, right? The total number of substrings, that's 2 to the n, because you can say and choose 1, right? And choose 2, and choose 3, all the way to n choose n minus 1. And you add them all together, it's going to be 2 to the n. So you have all these to do, and then you have to, every time you have to add n, which is to check this. So basically that's the result. This is backtracking. The difference is I return this, but here I keep tracking, I do this. Then I have is palindrome. I like this. I just do everything remaining, and then I check, and I do think it the cache work. Yeah, because you start, you do this, right? And then you do, and then you keep going, and then you might hit this again because it's already done again. What's this? Partition a palindrome check. Oh, that's, holy crap. I use exactly the same method. Look at that. I just candidated it and it's just a little bit different. Everything else is the same. I mean, we can use the backtracking just for fun, right? So we can say this is backtracking, but without the smart idea for checking palindrome. The reason for not using the smart idea is that the total length of S is only 16. And the smart idea is just if the two are the same, then we check the inner, right? And if the inner is the same, then we can say, okay, it's a good thing, right? It's good. But we have to build this library. You know what? Why don't we just do the smart way of checking? With the smart way, basically redo this method. Smart idea for checking palindrome. So we have is palindrome, right? This palindrome is gonna be II. And II is always gonna be true. Right? So I gonna be true. And then if these two are the same, okay, we can pre-fill some values. Yeah, we can pre-fill. I like to pre-fill some values. Is palindrome false? Okay, for this in range n. And then we can say for I in range n, I'll prefill it, is palin II. That's definitely going to be true, right? And then we say if si plus 1 I smaller than n minus 1 and si is equal to si plus 1, then is palindrome I to I plus 1, that's also going to be true. So this is like the base case. Once we're done, we can say def dfs. We have our index, and I'll have our partition, and this one will return nothing. And then we'll have a result here. Okay, so we say if index is equal to n, so we go to the end, so res.append partition, we need to copy it, right? Else for each I need to for I in range from index to n, same thing, and then we need to say if they are the same, right? So what we can do is I, you know what, I should be from, yeah, so I from index to n. We can say current, we can say if is palindrome. if s I plus 1, no, hold on, I plus 1 nice, if I, right, is equal to s index, right, if it's two same, and either I is equal to index, or I plus 1 is equal to index, or is palindrome I plus 1 and no, index plus 1 and I minus 1 is true. Then we can say, is palindrome I, no, index to I is going to be, now this should be index plus 1 equals I. Then this shall be true, all right? And then this is palindrome. Then we can do DFS. Should be I plus 1. No, should be yeah, so this is all the way. So index to I, that's the one, right? That's the one we consider. So we say if these two are the same, index plus 1 equals I, or they won't go in, right? Anything is true, so this is true. So now this should be I plus 1. We'll go to the next one. And partition. So partition dot append, right? Partition dot append s index to I plus 1. And then we'll do partition. And then blah, 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 blah. Once we're done, partition dot pop. So if that's the case, we don't have to prepare it. It's fine. Right? And then we'll do everything, and then we'll do DFS. We call it 0. Partition is going to be this. And then I return res. All right, let's try solution 2. That works as well. You can actually check. Not this solution, I think it's this is Pax track. Okay, this, copy it. This plus 1 logic. Index plus 1 equal to or index plus 1 larger. Yeah, this does do it. Or is palindrome. Set it to true. Current path. DFS or pop. Yep, that's exactly the same solution as last time. That's slow. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's that. All right, so yeah, it didn't work. Redo this. Well, failed. I checked the solution from lead to 15. All right, so now the goal is try to solve this yourself. So the idea is to see this problem as a knapsack. Each factory is a knapsack because it has a capacity, right? So the question can be converted to finding the optimal way to fill all the factories with the given robots. Now the target the target optimization is the absolute distance between each robot and its factory, but the general idea is the same, right? For each robot, we either let it be fixed by the current factory, or we skip to the next factory. The sort is important because we can guarantee that when a robot skips to the next factory, the next factory is always new, that is with no prior robots being fixed there. So we sort them, right? And then we'll say dfs, we say ri, fi, and capacity. Okay. So dfs, ri, fi, I change to rj, and then capacity. Is the minimum total distance to fix robots I to the n with factory j having cap number of capacity. Right, so we either, option one, right, robot I skips factory j, thus the result is dfs I plus 1, no, I, which go to the next one, j plus 1, and then the capacity, the next capacity, which is factory j plus 1. Okay, and then option 2, robot I is fixed at factory j, thus the total distance is dfs I plus 1, right? And then we don't move on to, so we have to fill out the current first, right? So we fill out cycle j, and then that will be capacity minus 1 because I fixed 1 there, plus whatever the ABS robot I, right, minus factory j. Actually j1, this is a j0. Then we pick the smaller of the two. Edge cases, if I is equal to len robot, right, we have fit all robots to factory, then the shall return 0. if j is equal to len factory, we have not fit all robots, but have used up all factories, shall return math.inf. If capacity is smaller than 0, well, it should be, yeah, if the capacity is smaller than 0, we have used up all capacity of a factory, shall return math.inf. So with this, we're going to return an integer, right, the smallest. So we say if I is equal to len robot, return 0. If j equal to len factory, return math.inf. If capacity is smaller than 0, so if this or capacity is smaller than 0, return this. Otherwise, option 1 is equal to dfs. I skip this, so I do the same thing, but I go for the next one, and factory j plus 1, capacity is 1, right? Capacity is 1. Position and capacity, yes. And option 2 is going to be, so this is a skip j. This is going to be dfs I plus 1, still do j with capacity minus 1, plus abs robot I minus factory j 0. Use j, right? Use j. And then we'll return the minimum of OP1 and OP2. And of course, everything shall be memorized. No, functools, port, you cache. So we can, you cache this. Then we just need to return this. DFS. We start with 0 with first robot, and capacity going to be factory 0 and 0. No, 1. Okay, let's try this. It's now right. Index out of range. How? Because j plus 1. Ooh, capacity. Nah, capacity doesn't seem to be a right way to do. You cannot do capacity. So, have to use their idea. So instead of capacity, so it should be, I'm using the same k. With having already fixed k robots, right? Then with j plus 1, this will be 0 because it will be new. Note that new factory has not fixed any robot at the moment. 2, total distance is this. Well, we have done k plus 1, right? Whatever it is, and then plus this. I'll pick the smaller one. If k is larger than factory j 1, yeah, should return. So it'll be the same thing. So we say if j is equal to this, or factory j 1, your capacity is a k, right? We used up more, so k is larger than this, then I return. And then this is going to be 0. This is going to be k plus 1. And then this will be 0. Start, because this part we have used nothing. Then we good. Oh, still not good. We got 28. It's the same. All right, what did we got wrong? We skip. We'll go to the next one. Oh, we stay here. Interesting. I don't know. I thought I followed, because this makes sense to me. It's not the same? Yeah, I just delay this. I guess it's not the same. But it is the same. Hold on. What? Okay, this is weird. Let's comment on this. Let's see if this one works. Oh, inf. Huh? Oh, the only difference is they checked here. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. What? All right, this, I want to investigate this more. So you have to stop here instead of, what's the difference? If I don't stop here, right? I say, I want to check the next one. You're preventing it from executing. But, hold on. And what I think is when we do this, right? So we call this, and then we go to the next one. But in that case, I say if k is larger than, k is already larger than capacity. K is larger than capacity. So k plus 1, it might be equal to capacity, right? And then if they are the same, right? If k is equal to capacity, then k plus 1 will be larger than capacity. And if k plus 1 is larger than capacity, what's going to happen is I don't even call it. So what happened here is once k is equal to capacity, right? And then we're supposed to go to the next one. And the next one this will be true. And I will return math, so this one will be math.inf as well. So what's the difference? Like seriously, what is the difference between the two? I honestly have no clue at the moment. The only difference is they did this one later. And they did this one first, but I don't know. Wait, what? The only thing I can think about is the precedence of this. What I'm saying is this should go first. So what happens is I see I is equal to, right? Because I go forward, but the K can also be already outside. Okay, that is because if you see, we have, this is the only chance J can move forward, right? So when this one happens, K is definitely good. I, if it's good and J is also good, then we're good, right? That means we used up all the robots, we used up all the factory. That's a good situation. So this is fine. This is the problem. I plus 1, so J stay the same, right? So J stays the same, which means J is not passing, so J is within range. Now I goes forward. And what I say is I go forward, I say it's good. But what can happen is we're handling this, which means we shall that's why I put this one here, so we can make it easier. If you want to put it here, what if J is already on the outside? Tricky. So how should we place this K condition? So we call I plus 1 and J, right? And the K plus 1. So we have both an I and we have a K. So we can check on K. But if we check on K, we have to check on J first. But if we check on J, we need to check on I first. So this is a circle. Alright, this is a circle. You don't know which one to check first. So the best way to do is not to call. The best way to do is not to call this. Yeah, because if you want to check J first, right? You want to check J first. You say J is equal to this. But you cannot reject, because if I is equal to this, that's a good thing. So what you need to do is if J is this, and if I is this, that's good, right? Otherwise, it's bad. And then you can say, so that's 1, that's for J. Then for I, if I is this, but K is this, that should be bad. But if K is smaller, equal to, then that's good. So that's very complicated, right? Very complicated. So that's why we'll move this down, right? We'll move this down. We shall say if K is smaller than factory J1, so we have more capacity, then OP2 is equal to this, right? Else OP2 is going to be math.inf. Then it'll be correct. So this is actually very important to know. The condition for k smaller than factory j1 shall be checked before calling dfs I plus 1 j k plus 1. Because if we don't check it, it will be very complicated to check for the edge case. If we want to check for, so in the edge case, when we check for I, we must also check for k. But if I reaches the end, k is good, we are good. But if I reaches the end, yet k is not good, then we are bad, right? Plus, when we check k, we need j. So we have to check for j as well. Yet, if we check for j, we need to make sure we also check for I, because it is allowed for both I and j to reach the end, but not just one of them. As you can see, there is a circular ring, a circular dependency to check for I, j, and k. It is doable, but very convoluted. The better solution is to check k in the body of the function and let the edge case deal with only I and j. Oof. O, M, and K. Oh, it's tough. I mean, what do you mean by tough? I mean, it's just knapsack. That's it. With multiple knapsacks. Yeah, but we didn't do it. All right, so that finally marks the end of this. I'll put this into the nightmare. Pretty tough. Alrighty, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow then.